Hey there. I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Oh, sorry, wrong channel. We're answering the question, am I the asshole for telling my stepdaughter to leave the house because she called me a homewrecker? Let's go. My stepdaughter and I don't have a good relationship. I have been in her life since she was 9. Her father and I started dating 3 months after he filed for divorce. We were colleagues for a short while, about a year before the divorce, but we didn't have any relationship back then. I left the firm just 6 months after we started working together. I didn't even think about him once till we reconnected at a party hosted by one of our colleagues. His ex-wife thinks that he had an affair with me. There is nothing we can do to convince her otherwise. She told her daughter about her suspicions when she was 13. We had a great relationship till then, and I tried to tell her that her dad didn't cheat. She doesn't believe us. It is just our words against her mother, and the timeline does look a bit suspicious. She withdrew from me, and she's always been distant since then, and sometimes she's made some remarks about her father being a cheater, and it was very hard on the both of us. It was something we tried to talk about, but it was just our words against her mother's, and she truly believed it. She returned home for summer break after her freshman year. She decided to spend most of the time with her mother, but she did visit us a few times. She visited us 2 days ago. She was in a remarkably bad mood. She was just stewing in silence and watching something on TV. I asked her to turn the volume down as I was working. She blew up on me. She called me a homewrecker and a gold digger. She accused me of ruining her parents' marriage. I was stunned and shocked, and it hurt me. I knew she didn't like me, but she clearly hated me. I think her calling me a gold digger hurt the most. I am at a stage of my career where I want to switch to something less stressful, but one of the reasons I don't is because we don't want her to be burdened by debt. I love this girl, even if she doesn't care about me. I then asked her to leave the house and come back when she was a bit calmer. She left the house, and she's not talking to her father. He tried to talk to her and she's not speaking to him. I feel incredibly guilty. I should have handled it better. I got too emotional about it. I really can't blame her for believing what her mum told her. If my mum told me something similar about my dad, I would have believed it, and I can't blame her mother too. If you believed that your spouse cheated, wouldn't you tell your children at some point? I let her words get to me, and I may have hurt my husband's relationship with her. I feel guilty as hell. My husband also thinks that I should have been calmer here and just let her vent a bit before talking to her. Edit, she is in college. Now in the comments, no assholes here except for her mum. That poor girl has been poisoned by her mother, but can you blame her? It's her mum telling her that stuff. You can't expect someone who was 13 at the time of being told to be a detective to find out if it was the truth. I bet her heart was broken because she loves her dad. But I also don't expect you to put up with it. You were innocent, even if the timeline is suspicious. You shouldn't have to put up with verbal abuse from anybody. Maybe you could have handled it better, but you could have handled it a lot worse too. The daughter is still the asshole, regardless of what she believes. She was in OP's home, where she herself does not live, and disrespected her. If she's so adamant that her mother is telling the truth, then she should see her father outside of OP's home, or alternatively, at least be civil whilst in OP's home and in OP's company. No guest should ever disrespect the host in their own home. If they hate the host so much, then they should leave. Not the asshole. She was incredibly rude to you in your own home, and she's an adult, not a hormonal teen anymore. Your husband should be firm with her, but he's probably afraid of losing her altogether. Invite her back now that everyone is calm, and show a united front. Tell her the facts of your relationship, and that you pay your way, and that you love her. Also tell her that her rudeness won't be tolerated in your house. She might be unhappy, but she can't sit on your settee watching your TV and expect to treat you like dirt. And I feel like this is really important for OP to see. Right now, based upon what OP wrote, it appears that the ex-wife has lied and slandered. The daughter bought it, and now OP is stuck living with that lie. But that's not how it works. Just because someone else lies about you doesn't obligate you to maintain the lie or fall into line with the accusation. The accusation is a lie, you don't have to accept it. You can sit the daughter down and flatly deny the lie. In fact, you can call the lie a lie, and you can make it clear that when she's with you, you do not tolerate the lie. You are not a homewrecker and will not accept being treated like one. Repeating her mother's lie is not allowed in your home because it's a lie. This young woman is a victim of her mother's lies about you. The bio mum is the asshole here. Those lies do not excuse your stepdaughter's behavior toward you in your home. Yes, you could have handled it better, but we are human beings. We are imperfect. Tell her you were sorry for telling her to leave, but that you were upset because you did not have an affair with your husband while he was still with the bio mum. You are not the asshole. Forgive yourself too. And now onto the update. I was overwhelmed with the amount of comments I received. I read most of them, but some of them were pretty judgmental and harsh on all of us. She did make up with her dad a few days after, but she didn't come over. Some people suggested that I show her evidence, but the funny thing is that I have none because we had no relationship outside of the office. He was an email address and nice voice on the phone for my time there. I think we interacted in person maybe once a week. We were not even in the same department. I have shown her our resume. I have tried to show her our ID tags, but she thinks that we're hiding our relationship. You can't prove a negative. My husband did have a conversation about how she treated me, and I think it got through to her. She visited yesterday. She apologized for being short-tempered, and I apologized for kicking her out of the house. We had a nice dinner, and we ended up talking. My baby got cheated on. She did lash out on me, but considering what she believed, she just took all the hurt out on me. She looked so heartbroken talking about it. I know how bad it is. When you love someone so much that even when they trample your heart, you just want to pick it up and offer it back to them. I had just gotten out of a toxic and messed up relationship with a cheating asshole when I met my husband. It was heartbreaking watching her go through something similar. I did cry a little. She let me hug her, and that means a lot to me. I missed my baby. We have so much to work through. We are seriously considering some family therapy, but I didn't want to spring it on her when she was emotional. My husband is planning to talk to her about it. Things are still a mess, but after a long time, I feel like we are moving in the right direction. And now in the comments, good update. It is clear that she was projecting her own insecurities and pain onto you, given her misassumption about your relationship with her dad. It is not an excuse, but it's good to see her starting to recognize it for what it is, while apologizing and opening up. It's a start, and family therapy is a good idea. Although waiting is probably the smart call. If I've learned one thing from Am I the Arsehole and reality TV, it's that when somebody flips out of proportion, it's always about something else. I'm glad that you made up, but it sounds like you do have evidence of you not cheating with her dad. Her dad can explain the real reason he divorced her mum, and you can offer the information of your past relationship prior to her dad. You may not have those receipts, but I'm sure there is something that shows her dad/your relationship started as a rebound after 2 relationships ended. You shouldn't have to go through that trouble or share that level of privacy to a child, but you both seem determined to remove the narrative, so it may hurt to share. Our next post is titled, Am I the Arsehole for being upset about not getting a wheelchair? I suffer from myalgic encephalomyelitis. I started having falls several times a week and had to get a cane. My condition has become worse, and I come close to falling despite my cane. I wanted to get a wheelchair, so we checked out a place today. I found one and tried it. I felt immediate relief. It's easier to use than I expected, and was the most comfortable I've been in months. My boyfriend said that we couldn't get it now. We could get it next weekend when he cashed his tax rebate. I was confused because we have £1,200 in savings from my final wage after I was dismissed due to my disability, and it's not vanishing before then. He said he was worried about losing his job. He's taken a lot of time away from work. Quite often, this happens when I'm too ill to walk with him to work. He has anxiety about going in, and me walking with him helps. I told him I'm struggling to walk him to work, so how is he going to get to work? I also told him that I can't work without a wheelchair. which I've told him before, but he dismisses. He called his mother for advice, as she's a nurse. He came back from the call, said she didn't recommend it because they are £50 on the Red Cross website and can get them on the NHS. I broke down in tears, mainly over the last comment because my partner knows that I was refused twice by the NHS for a walking cane, despite having several falls every week. My cane was donated to me by a Redditor. I agreed to just go home because it was clear that he didn't want us to buy it. We waited for a lift from his mother, and I browsed the Red Cross website. The cheapest wheelchair they have is about £170, and it requires someone else to push it. The cheapest self-propelled one is £245, but the one I wanted was £150. In the car ride, I said that I couldn't live like this anymore. His mother said that the Red Cross had them cheaper. I told her what the prices actually were. She told me I could get them through the hospital. I told her how they refused me a walking cane, so how does she think they'll provide me a wheelchair? She says there is other help out there, and when I asked what help, she couldn't answer. I asked how they expect me to get to my interviews in the next few weeks and work when I can barely get out of the house, and she told me that I can't do anything about that. They are of the same opinion that it's too expensive, and it makes me think that I'm overreacting. I'm not good with money, so maybe they're right. I think maybe I wasn't as thoughtful as I should have been about how my partner feels about spending so much money. I immediately broke into tears before even reminding him I was refused a walking cane, or before checking the Red Cross website. He also does quite a bit for me. He often bathes me when I'm too weak to do it myself, and he lost his previous job after he had a lot of time off to look after me because I got so bad that I couldn't even safely walk from one room to another. And now in the comments, no, not the arsehole. You were not asking for a new expensive outfit, you were asking for a wheelchair. And quite frankly, this is a need, not a want, and you shouldn't even have to ask. And quite frankly, him taking a strop and being mad at you is complete bullcrap. Don't ask, buy it. I'm sorry to say this, but with ME, things are only likely to get worse. I have a friend who has been bedridden for over 20 years as a result of its progression. The sooner you get into a chair, the better, as overexerting yourself only accelerates the progression. I'm sorry, but support for the chronically ill and progressively disabled is terrible in most of the world. It sounds very much like the boyfriend and his mother are more interested in preserving the money to support him and not to support you. It is well and truly time that you have a serious conversation about what the plan is if you aren't mobile without assistance and need full-time care, because that is quite reasonably in your future, and if he's not on board with that, you need to know. Not the arsehole, look after yourself. You can't rely on anyone else to do it for you. Not the arsehole, just buy it, it is your money. Also, you didn't explain who he was at the beginning of your story. OP says, he is my boyfriend, we've been together for 7.5 years. I was trying to cut down the character count and forgot to adjust some details. Girl, your health and your comfort is the most important thing. I can't believe he and his mother do this to you. Get that damn wheelchair, and while you're at it, get rid of him if this is a reoccurring pattern with them. Seriously, I can't believe that someone that is supposed to love you cares more about $150 than your comfort and pain level and living status. With the wheelchair, you will be more active and have a more fulfilling life. That should be all that matters. Not the arsehole. Are you sure the money is still in the savings account? I would check. Good luck. OP replies, the savings account is in my name only, and he doesn't have access to it. We've always been really trusting with each other where money is concerned, so he never felt the need to be added to the account. It was an old one that I've had for years, and he trusted me enough to give me control to use it as a joint savings account. We had both put 50-50 in our actual joint account to cover the bills and rent, and then he would put in extra and ask me to transfer it into the savings. It's why I'm very hesitant to just flat out buy the chair, because I don't want to cause irreparable damage to that trust. OP, please read this. This is financial abuse. This is not shared savings, this is your savings. Your boyfriend and your boyfriend's mother are trying to move the goalposts to pressure you into not spending your money on a medical necessity. They are pressuring you not to spend your money so they can take your money and use it for themselves. Any boyfriend who would tell his disabled partner that they aren't allowed a medically necessary device that is needed for ambulatory movement is being abusive. It is abuse to even temporarily prevent someone with a disability from accessing mobility aids that will improve their quality of life. Look, I know that you have been with him for 7 years, but it is painfully clear that they are both influencing you to not look out for your own best interests. They are trying to prevent you from helping yourself and improving your quality of life so they can have access to your money for longer. That's not okay. That is not love. NHS guidelines on financial abuse state that financial abuse includes coercing you to spend, or not spend, money in a way that you are not happy with. This is exactly 100% what is happening here. Also, if your boyfriend has anxiety, that is not your problem. That is a him problem. If his anxiety is so bad that he needs you to put yourself in pain with him to help him walk to work, he is being abusive. His anxiety and emotions are not your responsibility. It is abuse for him to say or imply otherwise. He needs to go to the NHS and seek treatment and therapy for his anxiety. It is completely inappropriate for him to kidnap you into the role of being his emotional support animal, especially in light of the financial abuse. Please be well. I am worried for you. You seem to be in a worse situation than you realize. And now on to the update. My partner talked with me this morning and a lot has been cleared out. Turns out I definitely was the asshole. I made assumptions about what they said and their intentions. His mother hadn't checked the website, she had seen them ages ago and didn't know they had changed, but I misunderstood their wording. When he said he was concerned about losing his job, he wasn't backpedaling. I just assumed. He didn't think that we were buying and felt ambushed. I thought I had told him. I suffer from brain fog pretty badly, so I'm forgetful. I thought he knew my interest, especially as I was willing to take what would be a painful walk for me. Again, I assumed. There were lots of comments that him and his mother are abusive, which tends to be a theme with comments on relationship posts on Am I the Arsehole? I want to address this here because I was overwhelmed by the number of comments and was struggling with my mental health. These two aren't abusers, and he was not stealing money from me. I'm the only one who has access to the savings account. It's an old one that we use jointly. His mother took us in a few years ago when he needed her help, and she has been extremely respectful of my aversion towards children. Even though she doesn't understand it, she looks past that because she works hard to make others feel comfortable. She has gone out of her way to get the only migraine tablets that work for me, despite working ridiculous hours, when I couldn't leave the house and my partner's hours meant the shops wouldn't be open. She was trying to help me find a cheaper option. I screwed up, and I thought she had lied, and I misrepresented her. My partner is my rock of 7.5 years. He has helped me get away from my relatives who abused me for 19 years. He has been supportive from the first day that I developed ME. He has been patient and taken on a lot of responsibility because what I'm able to do as a partner and around the house has diminished. He never forced me to walk with him. I would agree to because I wanted to support him. Posts here are only a snapshot of people's lives, especially when there's a character limit. Even before I realized that I'd made a mistake, I had to cut down what I wrote just to fit the character count. I really upset him, and he actually saw the original post and all the comments calling him an abuser. I didn't write those comments, but I might as well have because I posted about it without considering there may have been a misunderstanding on my part. I should have reached out to him. My head is a mess, and I mucked about last night with antidepressants, painkillers, and alcohol. Wasn't trying to take my life, just wanted to feel something else, something that wasn't heavy. I have contacted my doctor to get help with my mental health and to obtain a formal diagnosis because I think there's a lot more going on than just depression. He says we'll get the chair on the weekend. I hurt him a hell of a lot, and he's still thinking of my health. Now in the comments, sweetie, I commented in your other thread, but I just read your post in Off My Chest. In addition to this post where you were taking all the blame, reading your first Am I the Arsehole post, and your perspective on your Off My Chest post, I just want to cry for you. You are not the asshole at all. He's stopped you from buying a medical device, but wants to buy gaming equipment and wants you to get a job. You said being in the chair was feeling like you were given wings, and he clipped them. You are not the asshole. And OP replies, this is another thing that came out when we were talking properly. When I started showing him different wheelchairs that I liked and suggested the place we went to, and also when he could see how much I was struggling, he decided against buying new equipment. He wanted to pay for the chair out of the tax rebate instead, and then put the leftovers into the savings account and towards bills. I would be lying if I said I didn't find it strange that he wants to wait a week, but honestly, I'm more than happy to. Dealing with doctors and specialists has been a nightmare. I had a doctor laugh down the phone at me because I requested they do tests other than just blood tests. I dread to think what their reaction would be to requesting wheelchair services. OP, this is not a good situation for you. Hard no. Yes, you are being abused, you are being gaslit, please run from these people. The fault wasn't solely yours, so please don't believe it is. There seems to be communication issues all around there, and if your boyfriend and his mother don't communicate things to you properly, you can't possibly understand their viewpoint and why certain things are or aren't happening. Lovely to see that you'll be getting your chair, much needed by the sounds of it, and I hope it improves your life hugely. Info. OP, have you applied for PIP or the ESA type part of the Universal Credit? And OP replies, it has been an issue for me for years that I don't always understand what others are getting at, not just with him and his mother. There has been times when someone will talk to me, and it's like hearing radio static. It's another reason I'm going to the doctors. I want to see if I have some kind of underlying issue. Autism and auditory processing disorder has been suggested to me before. I'll just have to see what happens, and if there is something going on, then I can seek out help and maybe treatment. I have applied for PIP. I've heard it takes a few months for the forms to be processed, and I've seen a lot of people with ME apply and not have much luck. I have sent off my explanation of how my disability impacts my life, so it's a big weight off my shoulders knowing that they have that, and I'll have to keep my fingers crossed. What's ESA? I can't say that I've heard of it before. Ironically, we did apply for Universal Credit when I lost my job, but it was the following day that he got offered his current one. And I guess just to answer that question, ESA is a benefit for people that can't work due to their health. So yeah, one of those things with the UK health system. And that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you see 2 videos on your screen right now that you can click, that means you're really special and really awesome and amazing, and you should just click one of them, because what's there to lose? I saw in yesterday's video, Miss Redo says if you stopped reading books because it upsets your husband, there's something wrong with your marriage. I agree with you there. There probably was something wrong with their marriage, and I wonder what they're up to these days. Wait, why are you still listening to me?